Shabbat Shalom, Sabbath peace, Shalom Laha Alahayim, peace to the gods, Nawathan Kal Halalim La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rocha Hakodash, giving all praises to Yahweh in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, elder bishops, and the heads and elders of all the camps of Great Millstone GMS who do rule well, who I have learned this 100% truth from, who are the true leaders of all Israel, Yasha Allah. Today, whether you can receive that or not, peace, blessings, and salutations to the Bayat, Dawayat, the house of David, the tabernacle of David, those predestined spirits of election scattered abroad. This is your brother Tazapanya of the Great Millstone, Washington, D.C. camp. Adawan Ratazab, Lord willing, this in transit um, spiritual rant is edifying to the elect. So, in the topic that I have today, it says, is going to take a superpower to destroy another superpower. Now, which type of superpowers am I talking about? America is a superpower, right? Russia is also a superpower. China is also a superpower, right? But in regards to prophecy in the scriptures, the beast is that superpower. Okay, um, that is diverse than the other animals, pursuant to the dream that Daniel interpreted in the book of Daniel. And the beast is the Roman Empire, but it is now revived, and we know it now today as NATO and the EU. NATO being the military bloc, EU being the financial bloc, and the whore that rideth the beast is America. So America controls NATO and the EU. Now, what other superpower am I talking about that can destroy the beast? America, NATO, and the EU and their domination, even though it's dwindling, but their domination over the entire globe. Job 9 and 24, Job 9 and 24. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? So in the Malachi chapter 1, verses 4, Esau, Edom, right? Esau was a twin brother of Jacob. Esau is Edom, so to the book of Numbers. So his descendants are the Edomites. And in Hebrews, it says, lest there be any more profane person or fornicator than Esau, who sold his birthright for one morsel of meat. So Esau is the wicked. He is the border of wickedness. Okay? He is the one that controls the beast. On that beast with 7 heads, those are the 7 kingdoms that Esau ruled, that started the world domination with Alexander the Macedonian, Alexander the Free, the Grecian Empire. So you had Greece, Rome, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Spain, French, and then the British. And the 8th is of the 7th, which would be America, right? That took out the other 3. And on his head was 10 horns. And 10 horns is the EU, the European Union. Okay. Now, this is a superpower, hence why I called it a beast. It wasn't a lion, you know. Um, you, Salakia. It wasn't these animals that was in reference to these kingdoms, but it was a dragon, something that is so savage, like so destructive that nothing could get in its way. Kind of like the one of the two understandings when it comes to the Leviathan. The Leviathan is that sea monster, which is likened to like Godzilla, but then it's also spiritually likened unto this Edomite ruled, revived ancient Roman Empire. And in Job, it tells you on how there's pretty much nothing you can do to it. Talking about the actual physical Leviathan. But spiritually, there's nothing you can do to this Roman. So Revelation 13, I want to say in verse 4, because I read it before doing this like a couple hours ago. It says, who is like the beast? Matter of fact, if a brother want to post Revelation 13 and 4, where it's like, who is like the beast? So the only superpower that can destroy this superpower would be Yahweh Shai. And Isaiah says, I shall not meet thee as a man. All right? Because remember, we're Israelites under the captivity of Rome. The beloved elder, Kazak in Mississippi, he did a video, I want to say, yesterday in regards to Acts 1 and 6 and going into a different translation on how the Israelites was asking Yahweh Shai, when are you going to free us from the oppression and captivity of the Romans? When it goes into say, when are you going to restore the kingdom of Israel? So it shows you that they knew, good and well, that not only was the kingdom only for the Israelites, but that they were under slavery under the Romans. Because what's a tall tale sign that you a slave? You paying taxes, pay tribute. So if you pay taxes, you are a slave. Hey, the water, bro. This is the brother Amar Kabal, 89. Amar Kabal. Revelation 13 and 4, it says, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. So Esau, Edom, ultimately revived this Roman Empire, okay, through the Renaissance. It talks about that in Revelation 20. Because the Lord, for 1,000 years during the Dark Ages, put a spiritual lock and key, spiritual slavery, so to speak, mentally, on the Edomites to be in a low base estate and to be under slavery under Jake, specifically in the bottomless pit in Europe, from around 300, 400 AD to about the 1300s, 1400s. And the scriptures say that he'll be loosed a little season. So we're in that little season now. And from then, that's when the dragon gave power to the beast. It says, and they worship the beast. All right. So and going into that word worship, it means to cooperate and be a part of, okay, with the Roman ways, the military and the political ways of the Roman Empire. It says, who is like unto the beast and who is able to make war with him? Now, the reason that I'm doing this is because I was watching videos last night and videos this morning in regards to how Nero 47 went into Venezuela. That I see all the media sources. Nero 47 out of his own mouth said that the technology that they had cut out the lights, the electricity completely, and they was able to get Maduro in under like 20 minutes. What they're not saying is that all that death that they caused, there was a lot of civilians that died during that in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela. Now, on a TikTok that I seen, they were saying that the talking points that Latin America presidents were saying, oh, you want to do this and that, well, come and get me. But now the rumors is going around on how he was able to dismantle a country and dissect their defense systems, whether there was a mole, a snitch, spies, or whatever, that hundreds of people died while the U.S. only sent in 20 people. Now, there's rumors that there was either super soldiers, which is a technology, or technologies that was so advanced to what Latin America has. These other presidents now is recanting their statements because they understand that if they wanted to do that to them, like Mexico, Cuba, Colombia, it would be easy just like that because of the technologies that they have. So when I thought about that, I was like, damn, imagine if 20 super soldiers, whether it was just a human with external higher technology or it was cyborgs in a sense, meaning augmented humans, whether their DNA was augmented, whether they're transhumanists, and the license plate says 999, which stands for um the 777 is completion, 999 is um damn, 101 wisdom, knowledge, 2 knowledge, 3 understanding, 4 mercy, 5 power, 6 man beast to sex, 7 completion, 8 glory. I be getting 9 and 10 mixed up. Um, I think 10 is foundation. What the fuck is 9? Anyway, Salakia. 11 is instruction. 12 tribes of Israel. 13 rulership. 144 the elect. But yeah. So whether it been humans with external super technologies or actually augmented humans, transhumanists that's able to have a higher intelligence due to them being plugged into tech, uh, they're one with technology. Either way, if 20 soldiers can go in somewhere, we're talking about spiritual power on the left hand side. Miracles that these devils has done. You know what I'm saying? Because remember in the scriptures, he said that if you obey these commandments, one of you shall put your enemy to flight 7 ways. You see? And the curses was that they would put you to flight 7 ways. Right? So 20 people could literally go in and in 20 minutes kill 500, 800, 900 people in a matter of minutes. You know what type of skill you have to have? So now these other Latin American countries, it's like Revelation 13 and 4. Who is likened to the beast is who was able to make war with him. Who was able to make war with America. So then logically and spiritually speaking, that means that, like the topic says, it's going to take a superpower to destroy another superpower. So Yahweh Shai is that superpower. Because remember, God was translated from the Hebrew word Allah or Alahayim, which means power or powers. Right? So it's going to take Yahweh Shai coming back as a spiritual superpower to destroy them, because there literally is nothing that humans can do. Why? Because it was a power, the Most High power, aka the Most High God, that set up Esau and gave his blessing to be the sword. So how can you go against something that has been blessed by the Most High on the left-hand side? You can only destroy it by a divine spiritual power on the right-hand side. You see? So when you're talking about these robots, robot dogs, these drones, the type of sonic sound weapons, direct energy weapons. In the TikTok that I seen, they were saying that they had a gun that can create a sonic boom to the point where men fall on their knees and start bleeding out of their nose profusively, incapacitating the enemy forces and soldiers immediately. This is the type of technology that Esau Edom has, man. So when it comes to Jake and thinking that they gonna do something when all hell break loose, living in the hood somewhere, and just because you got a couple choppers and switches that you can come against robot dogs, drones, and different type of kinetic weapons where they don't even have to use a projectile. They can use sound or light as a weapon to literally incapacitate you. Come on, man. Remember back in, what was it, Behold the Pale Horse, that was written in the early 90s, late 80s. They was talking about heart attack weapons where they point something at you and it vibrates energy towards your chest and your heart start beating so fast where you feel like you're about to have a heart attack. So there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to fight against this devil. This is why we fight the spiritual war, because the weapons of our warfare is not carnal anyway. So Yahweh Shai literally has to save us. There is literally nothing you can do against Esau. And I thought that was a good and edifying point that this Northern Kingdom Jake said on how some security officer in Venezuela video speaking in Spanish, and he translated and said that all the whole aura spirit of Latin America has changed now because of the rumors of how and which technologies that America, which is Babylon the Great, pursuant to the scriptures, went into Venezuela with, man. So we talking about next level, left-handed, a demonic, only could be learned by if you worship demons type of technology. You can't beat this shit. Now the good thing is that that type of left-handed energy and or weaponry ain't gonna do nothing to Yahweh Shai and the angels and even us when we get them new bodies, Lord willing, we get those new bodies. Because we be saying like, oh, when we come back down as New Jerusalem, they're gonna be shooting at us and we're gonna be laughing at them and like, yeah, but they gonna be pulling out the next level shit. They not gonna be using those fucking regular ass M16s on X-Men, the Avengers, literally Superman, coming down on some what was the shit that The Rock played? Forgot the nigga name, man. I gotta watch that over again. But yeah, like they can't. So it's like they gonna be coming out with some shit that they didn't tested in DARPA, right? Because that's all that DARPA is just drug money and trafficking money funneled to give an unlimited budget to create weaponry and testing and experiments that would never get passed through the Congress and things of that nature. Because when they said that, and I was watching Canadian Prepper earlier, that they had the electronic jamming that jammed all radars and everything, cut off all the lights. Anybody that was there, you know, with that sonic boom type shit, like this is literally next level type shit that we haven't seen before, haven't heard before. We can only imagine. They was telling you about super soldiers last. Notice I said the Avengers. Remember the German dude with the robotic arm that was able to punch through shit and all type of shit? How many movies we done seen of soldiers? Shit, Captain America was one. You know, and Wolverine inject them with this and do this to them and da 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 da. You know, fucking Stranger Things. You know, experiments on children, and then they come up to have certain type of fucking powers and shit. The show that came out what 3 years ago or something that was in the UK with these guys having superpowers and all. So we're coming into a different type of, I don't want to say reality, but yeah, the scriptures say that knowledge shall be increased, man. So it's there is no, so these other Jake trying to make a black America, trying to go to Africa and these other places and wake people up when the primary uh place to prophesy is here in America. All these type of things, nothing is going to be able to get us out of this situation. Not even keeping the law 100%. Now we do rehearse the righteous acts to the best of our ability, but keeping the law is not what it's election. Romans 9 explicitly tells you it's not him that you know that willeth, roughly paraphrasing, you know what I'm saying, but he who he calleth, you know, for the purpose of election. So you can't boast to say that you've done it. It is the Lord's doing, right? It's getting hot in here. So I'm not going to make this long, but it's going to take Yahweh Shai a superpower, you know? And there's a reason why they put super in front of. So them calling them a power, they're saying they're a super god. America is, America, we're a superpower. Remember, God means power. Super means to supersede, to go up. Something that's supernatural is above the physics of the natural realm. So the powers that be here, you are above what that is. So we need something above the power that this devil has, man. And remember that in the same precept or same chapter, Revelation, Salakia, heading to camp right now. Salakia, man. It's raining, cruising. In Revelation 13, it says that they made fire to come down from heaven. For as many as did not worship the beast should be killed. So you don't want to cooperate with those of this Romanized system, aka America, NATO, and the EU. Then you're either going to be killed or separated. Because when you go into that word kill, the root word definition goes into separate or to exclude from specifically the financial system, hence Venezuela, hence Russia, hence Iran, with sanctions and getting out of the SWIFT system. You know, because they're trying to circumvent the world reserve currency, which was the dollar. So it's showing you that these were the miracles, and a miracle is anything that is pretty much divinely intervened, divine intervention. But remember, the Lord is balanced. He works on the right hand side and the left hand side. A good example of that is in that movie Oppenheimer, you know, where he was like he was having dreams where he felt like some type of force was talking to him to create the equations in theoretical, uh what was it, nuclear physics or something to that effect. Albert Einstein, Oppenheimer, that type of thing, to come up with these things in order to figure out how to split the atom, when the atoms is the literal building blocks of the material world. So you're trying. So this shows you that they're Esau, and that they're anti-Hamashiach, because we worship a God of the living, not a God of the dead. The atoms coming together, on a certain level, it creates life. You want to separate that. You want to bring about death. So they didn't just come up with these equations by themselves. They was divinely inspired through demons on the left hand side that was sent to them by the Heavenly Father for prophecy's sake. And in order to beat that, you can't beat that carnally. You have to beat that through that same type of superpower, spiritual power, which is ultimately Yahweh Shai coming back with the angels, because Michael is going to get busy. He's going to get busy. So whatever sonic weapons, dues, direct energy weapons, um, you know, multiple thermonuclear equipped hypersonic Mach 10 intercontinental ballistic missiles, and any other fucking artificial anti-gravity transportation fake UFO devices that they think that could fight anything with their space force is going to literally be like Mike Tyson in 1992 versus a newborn baby. There's no match. There's no match. You know, it's going to be a complete destruction. You know, so the Lord has given them a spirit of pride. Remember, in Habakkuk it says he is a proud man, because of the technology that they worship, the artificial intelligence, the quantum computing, and this blockchain technology. Man, I like to call it the Edomite trifecta. That's their trinity right now that they worship, man. To be able to control all people and make them full on digital chattel slaves, hence the term blockchain. In a prisons have blocks. Like, if you know the locks, record label was D Block, repping a block in a prison. And in a chain, we all know shackles and chains and shit. And this is what cryptocurrency uses to communicate with each other on the blockchain. Regarding transactions, quantum computing uses gold, vacuum sealed off rooms, data centers, and 0 degrees Fahrenheit cold, um, environments because of the heat. That's another thing. So one thing I learned in engineering school, there has yet to be a product or machine that is 100% efficient. Meaning, anything that you're converting energy from, it dissipates some of that energy through heat. For instance, like a light bulb, right? If you put a certain amount of energy into it, the light emits, but it only might emit 40%, and the rest of the 60% dissipates off as heat. That's why when you touch the light bulb, it's hot. So there's nothing that is self-perpetual with energy that Esau has created. The only person that was maybe close was like Nikola Tesla. But you know what they did with them? J.P. Morgan killed that nigga and stole all of his research work. Um, and then what else? Quantum computing, blockchain, and um, and artificial intelligence because they're trying to get to there's many terms as AGI, artificial general intelligence, ASI, artificial super intelligence. Either way, things that is able to compute at an exponential rate way farther than the human collective hive mind, if they was in unison, could comprehend. Imagine if all 9 billion people on the planet Earth came together to solve a problem. Artificial intelligence is able to do that times a Googleplex at a rate that is not diagonal but exponential. It goes in an arc. So to them, they're looking at it like it's fucking God, you know, because they created it. But it's nothing but a program, you know. You programmed it to learn, and it's just doing it at a faster rate. But yeah, so it's going to take Yahweh Shai. This is why it says that he had many crowns on his head because he's going to destroy all these kingdoms, all these superpowers. Moab, you're not up next. Ishmael, you're not up next. You Gog from the land of Magog, you Russian Edomites, you're not up next. You know, so on and so forth. Those are really the only ones that you can even think would have some type of a potential to be up next. But see, what they don't even know either, what would happen next, or what is going to happen next to a low degree is going to be an oligarchy, a technocratic oligarchy. Basically, the 13 families controlling and ruling over all of the countries of the world, with none of them being um a unproportionate power to the next. This is why they keep pushing in alternative media. Yeah, we're going into a multipolar world, meaning what? Two nodes, two polars, like you have the North Pole and the South Pole, 2 points of interest, where it's just one polar, which would be America, but America is going to fall at a level where it's going to be America's going to be on the same level, maybe as Russia, China, so on and so forth, while the 13 banking families rule by chipping everybody. And just like Elder Pastor Hart said, about a good 90, 95, 98% of people is going to take it. And then by that time, Yahweh Shah is going to come back while the missiles is flying, because the love of money is the root of all evil. When they see the amount of how rich and how quick they're going to get, I've talked about this before. When you tokenize everything, meaning putting everything on the blockchain, like right now, America's in what, $39 trillion in debt. They say the real numbers in the hundreds, like $170 trillion in debt. And the global economy maybe is in, like, I don't know, 300, $400 trillion in debt or some shit. They saying we up in the quadrillions or even more that of money that is going to be made up when you tokenize things. Meaning, you could put a property on the blockchain, and instead of one people owning it, it's going to be multiple people owning it and betting off of the derivatives regarding it. It's kind of complicated when it comes into the math, but just know that there's going to be quadrillionaires. Remember back when we was young, it was like, oh, a millionaire. Remember, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? $1 million ain't shit no more. Shit, low-level rappers and streamers making millions of dollars. And then back then, it's kind of like right now, it's like billionaires is the thing. So them billionaires is really going to be trillionaires, because the trillionaires right now would be your Rothschilds, so on and so forth. Your multi-trillionaires, but that multi-trillionaires ain't gonna be shit. It takes $1,000 trillion to make $1 quadrillion. So when that type of money and that type of power and control is going to be exuded upon the masses, these Edomites is going to fight each other, which they're doing now because they have somewhat a vision of what life is going to be like in the future. This is why Putin said that whoever controls the AI race, the artificial intelligence race, is going to control the next world order. So you got like they're fighting, and that some and I speak as a man. That's going to be one of the factions on why um Russia is going to press that button and the rest of these other um nations. But I'm gonna leave it at that, man. I really wanted to stop at 20 minutes, but Lord willing, a little extra spiritual rant at the end there was edifying. To get a little bit more information or to do some more research in regards to the superpowers at hand and how much of a superpower this beast really is, because they are, but who is going to be the ones to who's going to be the one to destroy it, which is Yahweh Shai. So with that, I'm gonna say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Mashayak, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashama Mashayak, Yahweh Shai. On to the next one. Shalom.